happy to join in the conversation. But I think if you could take us through the pieces, that would be great, Stephanie.
Well, I started with that one. So the next piece was the, I can't think why that just kind of came into my head. I can't really explain it. I was trying out a new way of making compositions because I'd just ground the whole. Usually I start with, oh no, so it was that one. That was the first one. Yes, so this one here is a combination of these are actual sketches that I did of around Split. So this is the seaside where I had a lovely swim, the best swim of my life, I think. The palace, and this is a tomb from the Museum of Archaeology. And then this shape here is both a reliquia of Saint Dom, who I found in the treasury. I don't know why he had his hands up, but anyway, so these reliquaries have a kind of glass stomach with a bit of bone or fingernail or whatever in. But also, this ties up with a wonderful harpsichord that I'd seen in a photograph of Goethe's sitting room in Frankfurt, which had got this kind of a lid like kind of wings. And then this is my specs down here, my glasses at the bottom. So that's a kind of sort of a whole sort of jumble of lots of different things, which is.
Can I ask you about your choice of colours, because they're very distinctive, it seems to me. Do you when you're creating a piece like that, just apply colours, or do you have a theory on colours?
No, I normally see what I remember to put the caps back on and what hasn't dried out, and I use that.
Right. Good.
And then I find something that kind of goes uneasily with that colour and kind of work up from there, basically.
Sounds fine.
What is it made? What is it made of?
There's a ply, cut out ply. So I have a little what do you call it? Jigsaw, yeah. So I just cut out a sheet of ply, and these actually were meant to be painted, so they were going to go on the wall, but I didn't feel. I felt they looked too flat, so they're sort of 3D paintings really. And then this one, I think I tried so hard with the composition of this, and I just thought, can't do that again. So I randomly cut out some triangles and shuffled them around into different shapes and produced that. And then I just had an intuition that I really wanted to cover it with mosaics, which would look like kind of erupting floors, the sort of thing that you'd find in a ruin, that would be, this sort of jumbling effect of bits of concrete and cement that you see in places that have been bombed or ruined or whatever. And so I forget the order of play. This I've been working on, I think, probably before. So this is Diocletian, but he's collaged with Les Dawson, the comedian. I don't really know why, but it's a sort of, I think, because when you look at if you're doing a portrait, it's just like, you look at a portrait and you look and you look and you look, and what have you got? You've just looked and looked. But if it's crossed with somebody else, then you've got some new thing which can, it can sort of speak to itself, and something new can come out of it, something sort of rather cubist in attitude. So I've done pairings of Julian Clary and Stravinsky, and so it's quite a nice way of working. And of course, part of my whole shtick is a kind of attitude to, an absurdist attitude to subject matter, and I think I just think it's a lot of fun doing this stuff. So why pretend otherwise? So you can do the serious stuff and interesting stuff, but also there's always absurdity. I think I'm probably most pleased with this one, which is again, I made it like moving pieces of paper around, and I wanted to. I think I'd gone to stay in Lisbon, and there was a young guy in the Airbnb who was a football coach, but he was doing a thesis on something called affordance, which is when you look at anything like anything human made for humans, it invites you to hold it or use it in a certain way. So a chair invites you to, you know what to do, you know to sit, and a cup has a handle and you know to raise it to your face, and you know how to kind of how to walk behind people and how to move down the street. So you have an instinctive understanding of objects. But as I wanted to make something that invited a kind of holding, but denied any function or realistic possibility of holding it. In fact, it's very difficult for this to stand up, except the other way up. Then this one, I found this became my enemy. I don't know what happened. It just like it was sort of mulishly stuck in the studio, and I had to paint it loads of different times, and ended up with it being just the same as it was. So this is a little figure, one of Edward Blear's little figures. So I really do think that he must. I just love to think that, because he was quite a lonely, difficult, complicated. He was a lovely man, I think, but he was quite fraught with life was not easy for him, and I'm sure that he would sit down and children would come up to him and pester him and get him to draw things for them, because that's what happens when you're drawing outside. People want to come and see what you're doing, and so this funny little figure. So I just made it much bigger, and so it looks like a sort of cauliflower with knobbly knees. And then also I got very interested in the Diocletian's. There's a sculpture which is purportedly of Diocletian, which is in the corner of St Mark's Square on St Mark's Cathedral, I believe, and it's so it's like two figures one side, two figures round on the corner. So they're sort of embracing each other, and they're the tetrads. So I don't know I'm just going to tell you about the tetrads in case you don't know, though maybe you do. So Diocletian instituted to keep down the wars in the empire, which was colossal by the time he acceded. He had another emperor, and then they had sort of sub-emperors who governed, and there was peace for 30 years until he gave up the ghost, because he had not given up the ghost, but he packed in being an emperor and went to 10 cabbages in Navarre, I think, and he really had a villa. So one of the figures on the corner of St Mark's Square is meant to be him. So there's, and I just thought that having cut the sculpture going around the corner is really attractive. So you come across them that side and then this side, and they're mirror images. So I found that this is a tetrarch from the Museum of Antiquities, but it's just like a pear, so it's a diarch probably, isn't it? This is the tetrarchs themselves on their corner, and then there was this little cat in the gallery who used to kind of stand on the corner with his tail one side and his body the other, so I thought he was a bit sort of tetrarch-like. And so, but then also, what I like to feel when I made something is that I still haven't got the faintest idea what it is. And so that's particularly true of that one. And then this one is, it's sort of reversible, so that's an upside down kind of Roman, it's sort of a bit influenced by De Chirico, the sort of proto-surrealist painter who famously painted sort of enigmatic Roman streets. And I don't know, I just did it in a day, which is unheard of for me, because normally things take forever and ever. But it just fitted itself together as though it was sort of pre-existing, really. And these rather sickly, unpleasant colours, I don't know where they came from. I did try to paint them a different colour, so not entirely true that I was just running out of paint, but I think they're very weak and feeble and sort of they go against the kind of strength of Roman architecture, so I've let them be. And then finally this is called The President Dances, which I think it's a song from Nixon in China. I can't really think about it, but I just rather like it. So I had got sort of Tito and Diocletian and any other leader really in mind, of being a sort of dancing figure, but also there's one of the fascinating things about Croatia, and I think probably the Balkans generally, the incredible needlework, absolutely amazing embroidery and skill of construction. So, although I think it's one of those things that people grade architecture as like the top, it's like the alpha art, but really the structure of these shirts and skirts and dresses is so has just the same understanding of physical space and containment and ornament. So, and I'm kind of honouring it in this. kind of echoes of the golden coins that you find on wedding garments. Yes, and this, I don't know, I made face after face after face for this, and then suddenly this abstracted kind of 1920s thing appeared, so I don't feel I'm kind of done with this. I feel I have to, when I get home, I'm going to make some more crazy dancing presidents, I think.
I like the idea of crazy dancing presidents. I don't know that we have them very often in this world, but perhaps we'd have better politics if we did. Do people want to ask Stephanie questions?
Sorry, is that one also Diocletian, that one up there?
Yes. So that's more literally, right? So I did try to put a couple of faces over each other. So, but his nose is smashed up when he was, that's part of the Christian defacement of his image. Was to anything that looked like Diocletian was mutilated. So I don't know if it was him or not. But he's my Diocletian anyway.
Was he followed by Constantine?
I think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So he was like the last Roman, I suppose. Was he the last Roman emperor?
Yeah, last pagan.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Shimon Peric, a Zagreb-based dead artist now? Does similar patterns.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. No, I'd love to.
You should check him out.
What's his name?
Shimon Peric.
Right.
It's cool. Really similar stuff to that in the
Really?
sort of 60s and 70s.
Oh, just wrote his name down.